You probably think sugar only becomes a problem when it shows up on your waistline, in your blood test, or in a guilty moment after dessert. That is the lie. Sugar does not just sit quietly in your diet like a sweet little extra. It barges into your biology, jerks your energy up and down, trains your brain to want more, scrambles your hunger signals, and turns ordinary eating into a system of reward, crash, rescue, repeat. So when you stop eating it, the story is not simply about discipline. It is about what happens when a body that has been living in constant chemical noise suddenly hears silence. Over the next 14 days, your body does not just react, it renegotiates. And the first shock is this. The hardest part often has nothing to do with hunger. It has to do with expectation. Your brain has learned that sweetness means fast fuel, fast comfort, fast relief. Morning coffee tastes less exciting. Afternoon feels flatter. Night begins whispering for something small, something harmless, something you definitely earned. But underneath that craving is a much bigger drama. Blood sugar stops surging as often. Insulin, the hormone that helps move sugar out of the blood and into cells, is no longer being summoned over and over like an exhausted emergency crew. The body starts looking around, almost confused as if the usual delivery truck did not arrive. In the first day, you may feel irritable, headachy, or strangely tired, and that can feel ridiculous because you did not quit some forbidden substance. You just stopped eating something people put in yogurt, cereal, sauces, and bread with a smile. But that is exactly why it hits so hard. Your brain loves predictability, and sugar has been one of its favorite shortcuts. When that shortcut disappears, reward circuits protest. Dopamine, the chemical linked to anticipation and motivation, is no longer getting that same quick spike. You're not broken. You are hearing the machinery complain because the easy lever stopped working. Then comes the first night, and this is where many people lose the fight. You expect sleep to improve instantly because you did something healthy, but the body is not a motivational poster. It is a living system in transition. If you are used to late sugar, evening snacks, sweet drinks, or desserts, your nervous system may feel restless when the usual ritual is gone. Some people sleep more lightly at first. Some feel wired and oddly unsatisfied. It's like taking away the background music from a room you thought was quiet, only to discover the air conditioner has been rattling the whole time. By the second and third day, the negotiation gets uglier before it gets better. Cravings can rise like a tantrum because your body is still waiting for the old pattern to return. This is when the mind starts bargaining with dangerous creativity. A little will not hurt. Fruit juice counts as healthy. One treat is basically balance. But here's the catch. The craving is often strongest not when your body truly needs energy, but when your brain wants the emotional shortcut it has practiced 100 times. Sugar is not just fuel in this phase. It's memory, habit, reward, timing, texture, comfort, and escape wearing a candy-colored disguise. During these days, appetite can feel confusing. You may think cutting sugar should make you want less food right away, but sometimes the opposite happens first. That's because frequent sugar intake can throw off the normal conversation between hunger hormones and the brain. Ghrelin pushes hunger upward, leptin helps signal fullness. When your eating pattern has been full of sweet peaks and crashes, those signals can become noisy and unreliable, like a badly tuned radio. So for a short window, you may feel hungrier, more distracted by food, or weirdly fixated on snacks. It does not mean the strategy is failing. It means the control panel is being recalibrated. Somewhere around day 4 or 5, the fog begins to thin, and this is the moment people almost never expect. You do not necessarily feel amazing, you feel steadier, and steady is far more powerful than exciting. Mornings start to lose that dramatic rise and collapse. The desperate mid-afternoon dip may soften. Your brain begins using energy with less chaos because blood sugar swings are not yanking the wheel every few hours. Instead of living like a phone that charges to full and drops to red before lunch, your body starts behaving more like a system designed for endurance. This is also when your taste buds begin exposing how distorted normal became. Foods that once seemed plain can suddenly feel sweeter. Berries taste sharper, nuts taste richer. Even plain yogurt can seem less like punishment and more like actual food. That's not imaginary. When you bombard your mouth and brain with intense sweetness, ordinary flavors can start to feel dull. When the overload stops, sensitivity returns. It's a little embarrassing, honestly. The banana didn't change, you did. By the end of the first week, another shift may begin under the surface, and it has less to do with willpower than with inflammation and fluid balance. High sugar intake, especially when it's constant and paired with highly processed foods, can encourage water retention and stir up inflammatory processes that make the body feel puffier, heavier, and more sluggish. So, one of the earliest visible changes is not always fat loss. It can be less bloating. Your face may look a little less swollen. Your stomach may feel less inflated. Rings may fit differently. That's when people get fooled and think all the work is done. It's not. The body has only just stopped arguing. Now the nights start changing too. If your meals have become more balanced and you're no longer riding those sharp spikes and drops into the evening, sleep can begin to deepen. Not because sugar is some evil ghost that attacks your pillow, but because the body loves stability. Stable energy supports a calmer nervous system. Fewer late crashes can mean less frantic snacking. Less late sugar can mean less digestive noise at the exact moment your body is supposed to be slowing down. You may fall asleep a little easier. You may wake up less wrecked. And perhaps the strangest part is that better sleep then makes cravings easier to resist the next day, because sleep deprivation itself can intensify hunger and sweet cravings. The trap starts loosening from both ends. Then the second week arrives, and this is where everything changes. Not because you become a different person in some dramatic movie montage, but because your body begins trusting the new pattern. Cravings that screamed now speak. Hunger starts feeling more honest. You can tell the difference between needing food and needing stimulation. Energy becomes less theatrical. Mood may level out. That does not mean life feels euphoric. It means your chemistry is no longer throwing tiny emergencies at you all day and calling it normal. This is also the point where people begin asking about belly fat, and here the truth matters. 14 days is not a miracle window where your body suddenly burns away years of habits, but reducing sugar can help lower the constant insulin demand that makes fat storage easier and fat release more difficult in a chronically overfed system. It can also reduce mindless overeating because you're no longer chasing crash after crash. So yes, over time, the waistline can respond, but the deeper win comes earlier. You stop being pushed around by a cycle that made you hungry when you weren't empty, tired when you weren't overworked, and craving when you weren't truly deprived. Your skin may start sending signals too. Some people notice less puffiness, fewer breakouts, or a calmer look. That does not happen because the body becomes pure after a few sugar-free days. It happens because inflammation, oil production, sleep quality, hydration, and total diet quality all interact like gears in the same machine. And sugar has a habit of slipping into that machine like grit. Not always dramatically, just constantly. A little more stress here, a little more imbalance there, a little more wear on the system over time. What makes this so important is that sugar rarely acts alone. It travels with convenience, poor sleep, mindless snacking, emotional eating, and the idea that feeling bad can always be patched with something sweet. That's why quitting it for 14 days can feel so revealing. You're not merely removing an ingredient, you're exposing the wiring. You start noticing how often stress sends you towards the kitchen, how often boredom dresses up like hunger, how often your body was not asking for pleasure, but for stability. And that's an uncomfortable revelation because it means the problem was never just taste, it was dependence on disruption. So, what really happens when you stop eating sugar for 14 days, day by day and night by night? At first, your body protests, then it adapts. Then it remembers what steadier energy feels like. Your cravings may ease, your appetite may become more trustworthy, your sleep may get deeper, your belly may feel less bloated, your skin may look calmer, your mind may feel less hijacked. Not because you unlocked some trendy health secret, but because the body often rewards relief faster than it rewards punishment. And that might be the biggest twist of all. Sugar feels like comfort in the moment, but for many people it quietly turns the body into a place of instability. Remove it, and the first thing you notice is not sweetness missing, it's noise leaving. The static begins to fade, the alarms calm down, the crashes stop pretending to be normal. You start living in your body again instead of constantly negotiating with it. That's why this is bigger than dessert, bigger than cravings, bigger than a challenge on a calendar. It's about whether your biology belongs to your habits or to you. If this made you look at sugar differently, say how long you think you could go without it, or tell me what day you think would be the hardest. And if you want the next deep dive into what your body is secretly doing every day, stay with me for the next one.